there's a lesson that I think that needs to be communicated, and I think it's going to go a little bit differently than you guys want to, because I made a declaration last week that I wanted to make sure that I help you guys level up in every sense of the word. So, ladies, be sure to watch this with your husband or with whoever it is that you're in a relationship with, because it's important for y'all to have this conversation, because I want to change our mindset. And then, fellas, I want you to be open-minded. Fellas, I want you to be open-minded. It's very, very important for you to be open-minded. I know that you've had a lot of these different relationship gurus and all of these people that think that they know what they're talking about and they can communicate well, but they don't really know what they're talking about, because very few people actually know what it takes in order to be successfully married. I'm telling you, very few people understand what it takes in order to be successfully married. But I'm going to learn you today. I'm going to unlearn you, and I'm going to learn you today. All right, so let's start off here. Marriage, and let me bring myself to the front of the congregation, but I'm going to do that in a minute. Marriage is for three different types of people, okay? Marriage is not bad. Marriage is not good. It's like anything that you get into, it's what you make out of it, depending on what you're looking to get out of it. One of the reasons why everybody is so messed up today is because they've gotten a lot of bad information. The core principles and reason for why you're getting married is all wrong. And nobody knows what they're talking about. That's the God's... Listen, I cannot be any more transparent. I cannot be any more forthcoming and honest with you than that. People have no clue what they're talking about. And so, like everything, there's context that needs to be added into it in order for you to truly understand it. It's like the internet, right? It could be for good, it could be for bad. Somebody that's had very bad experiences on it, you know what I'm saying, and then they're addicted to it, or, you know, what it is that they've gotten into as a result of it, and they got arrested because they was doing some stuff they wasn't supposed to do, or they was using it wrong. It could be a very bad thing for you. On the flip side, it could be something that could really allow for you to tap into an audience or e-commerce, or be able to market yourself more effectively, or reach that job, or apply for certain things, or communicate with people, or meet certain networks that you never would have had access to. So the context matters. And what I'm very disappointed in for most of the people that's on the internet communicating and thinking that they know all about relationships is that A, they're not open to the possibility that they're wrong. B, they're not open to learning things differently. And then C, they don't bring themselves to the front of the congregation when they give out bad information. And very few people actually understand this and they can communicate it effectively. And that's why most of the people that tell you what it is that you're supposed to be doing from a relationship perspective, either A, they're not married, B, they've had failed relationships, and so C, they're talking under duress. They're talking because they're scorned. They're talking because, and this is not everybody, but there's a lot of people that's talking out of, it's almost like a crackhead that's giving you advice on how it is that you're supposed to look at drugs. Yeah, you can take advice from them, but do you really want to take advice from a crackhead on how to stay out of drugs? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to take advice from the person that's suffering from it. I want to take advice from the person that never got into it in the first place and can tell you how to move out of abundance, not out of duress. And so I don't know about you, and I'm not criticizing anybody, and I don't have anybody in mind, but in a general sense, we have to set the foundation so you understand where I'm coming from, right? Now, marriage is not bad or good, but here's the key. From what I've been observing, and from all of the coaching sessions, and from being successfully married and looking at my own background and understanding how different people moving and having so many different conversations, and it really just started to click how I needed to communicate to y'all today, because I was looking at the senator that died. Her name is Dianne Feinstein or something like that. And I was praying, honestly, this morning, and I was like, what am I missing here? Why is it not clicking with some people? Why can't the women really get it and grasp it? Is it my communication style? Is it something like that? No, that's not what it is, because you need that abrasive communication style. And sometimes you need love. Sometimes you need chastisement. What am I missing, God? And so I'm talking to God and I'm trying to figure it out. And so I start going over this Dianne Feinstein, and she died at 90 years old. right? And she was married to a billionaire guy and all of this other type of stuff, or a millionaire, multi-millionaire guy. And I started observing and I started looking, and then I looked at Kamala Harris. Now, I don't like Kamala Harris, right? I don't like her policies. I don't like how she's governing. But I'm able to, one of my skill sets is that I'm able to remove how I feel about a person in order to make an objective observation about them so that I can figure out what it is that they did more successfully than I did and how I can leverage that in a positive way in order to continue to win, right? So I may not like her policies, I may not like how she governs, but if you start to deep dive into Kamala Harris, I call her Cam's background, you'll start to understand, wait a minute, she looks like she's in a good relationship, but they don't really fit together, right? They, like, from an optics level, from a look perspective, it's like, would she really talk to a guy like that in regular life? If she was just a normal person like you and me, would she talk to the guy that she's married to, that white guy, right? And so I started looking at Kamala Harris and the level of success, and she's an AKA, and she has the right networks, and now she's pulling her friends into the government and stuff like that. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. Thank you, Common Sense. But think about it, right? I looked at Dianna Feinstein, a senator that died at 90, and she governed in California, whether you like her policies or not, in California. And I was looking at Kamala Harris, and then I started looking at Barack Obama, right? And I don't necessarily care for Barack Obama or anything like that. But I started looking at the people I liked and the people that I didn't like. And I was like, it snapped. And I said, the people really don't understand it. The people don't get it. Now I see, because in order to teach somebody something, you can't just give them the information. You got to help them to be able to relate to it. All right, so here it is, right? This is the revelation that I had, and hopefully it helps you. When you think about these people, when you think about their successes, if you look at all of the different senators and all of the Congress people and everybody that holds some level of political power, and you think about all of the successful business people, from the authors to the tech geniuses to the gurus to the Elon Musks to the Bill Gates and all of these people, and then you move over into the billionaire people that are in real estate and tech and all of these places, right? The most successful people in the world. And most of them are out of your purview, but most of them also have 30 and 40-year plus marriages. They stay married. You don't see senators and Congress people and presidents and all of these people. You do not see them getting divorced. They have a common theme amongst most of them, the majority of them. Yeah, you can say that there's, Jeff Bezos, he divorced his wife after he is a billionaire. And they went on to go and live whatever lives that they wanted to live, but he leveraged her, right? If you look at a lot of these people, it's two things that they have in common. If you had to guess what they are, what would you guess? If you had to guess what the common theme, the Dianne Feinsteins and the Kamala Harrises and all of these people, if you had to guess, what would you say? I'm going to spare you the suspense. I'm not even going to go through the chat and see what's happening, right? I see Return of Wilderness in the chat. He said, rich people shouldn't marry too much risk. That's because you're operating with a duress mindset and you don't understand the game. Y'all all playing the game, but you playing the wrong game.